fiat currency, precious metals, a what's supposed to be a miner or a terminal, or even both for some reason if that's even possible, of cryptocurrencies. This is going to be a video about all three of these things, not really counting the ones of the past that some people may have made videos about, like bar trades and whatnot. We're going to just cover these three, and we're not going to try to pass too much judgment to any of these three, but there's going to be judgment anyways because I don't know how to navigate it better. So here we go. This video overall should be titled something like discussing the innovations for Agorist in terms of finances or something like that. I'll probably figure out later. And this is gonna probably upload to the March Scarf or even on Bitch if I'm not on YouTube, March Scarf. But like, we'll just upload it somewhere. This isn't gonna, obviously gonna be it's not gonna be a claymation, but it does kind of look like it's getting there. Modeling clay is included at this point, but we'll make claymations for this later on if we can. So we'll just get right down to it. So fiat currency. This is the common trade we have nowadays, as you could call it for maybe norm music. But fiat is technically any money that, as it's supposed to be, and this is not going to be research video, so if I need to do facts out later, but otherwise we'll have facts around. Fiat currency does not have a, it is basically, for starters, it's centralized, so it's like, you don't achieve, like, what we could even call true currency with whatever innovations we have at this point. Well, like, fiat's not going to be one of those things because as abused by the state as this has been, you don't have enough freedom with fiat by itself. Like, it's already, it may be one thing if you can still make exchanges with it, but you will not last too far with it. It's like not just from how out of control it can be, but knowing that you can't even like maintain the money for yourself even if it wasn't being controlled, but the whole facet of it being manipulated is because you don't even technically own it. People who say that money isn't real are selling kind of too short because you never even like how to use it as a tool in the first place. It wasn't even operating the best possible way at this point. Fiat, if you're even calling it anything else other than not like a USD or any other currency around the world that uses it in the system, they're not doing you any favors. Like, but yeah, that's all I can say for fiat right now if I don't research it too soon. But yeah, here next we have precious metals. And something I can say something more informative about this is that precious metals is at least slightly higher grade, no pun intended, about its properties, but the value that comes from precious is not so much that it's a real item, if you can even call it a material item, which it is, but even literally like the fiat or the dollar bill of fiat. But like in precious metals, there's a bit more security with it. There are, however, a lot of ways you can scam this out on people because, especially with treasuries and other things you can do with it, which can still be scams. It can easily be scams, if not guaranteed to be. But like with precious metals, you don't have as much security with it as you could with the innovations. We'll get to them in a second. Not complete though. But you, however, have at least a little bit more leverage because you can at least have a way to maintain the value that it has from fiat, and you don't have to make sure that it is keeping that value because it will still maintain it from fiat's sake. It's like you're going to be like, it won't be the value that it could be, but it will still maintain its value without being compromised by any economic downturns, to say the least. With things like silver and gold, you don't have to worry about, as long as you can afford them, obviously, but like you don't have to worry about their value plummeting, at least not too much, even if it still technically could. But there's a bit more leverage with it, so it's like that's I can say for that. Finally, we have a terminal slash exchange machine or miner, or whatever. I did all three of those or two of those in one go because I didn't want to think too hard about it. But we have the Bitcoin logo on a machine in general, and so it actually resembles a sense of finances that we popularly know in any other way, good or bad, as cryptocurrencies. These coins, however, they may not be, even if they were not the perfect form of currency, they still have a lot to go for them, even ahead of precious metals, let alone fiat. It is something that you can have as an innovation for what it's worth. The agorists believe that this is definitely a good sense of security and innovation way far ahead of fiat and even precious metals. That you can at least make sure that you will have things in order, even if it's not the perfect, if not so-called ultimate form of currency. You can still have a lot going for it. Another one thing I can at least be a bit more informative with this at this point is that Bitcoin by itself is not the only cryptocurrency. It is actually the coin that happened to have the most popularity at the time, and it also happened to be one of the coins that had the most economic leverage to it because it became so expensive over the years. But it's not the only cryptocurrency. There are many altcoins out there. At least the first 30 or 10 actually still count. You shouldn't have to even call them altcoins just as far as Bitcoin's concerned. You can still have these other coins in mind, and especially ones like Monero, some other ones, Ethereum. Bitcoin's not the only one. There are other ones that you can use. And people who have seen Bitcoin as a sport or a meme haven't seen the whole picture at that point. They don't not only not realize this in terms of whether or not other coins exist, or even after knowing that, how they even would be useful or worthwhile. The controversy shouldn't have to go that far for it. But even in considering the controversy, yes, cryptocurrency is not only useful, it is actually very much one of the better innovations that would actually work for things like collapses and downturns. It's just not even saying too much at that point, or explaining that, if I could, even if I do. But cryptocurrency is probably one of the best innovations that could happen to current currencies in our day and age. Not only years since I haven't been implementing and innovating it, but because of the things that would happen in the future, if inevitably, that would consider this being one of the better ventures. Your best bet is to get yourself as far away from fiat as possible, if not at least making it so you don't get compromised when containing it. You can still keep it if you need to, but it's just not necessary to have in the long term. You have maybe what would technically be mostly crypto, and then partial precious metals, and then staying with fiat only as necessary as need be, but not need to only have fiat, and definitely not only having fiat. What you can do in this point is make sure that you're not spending all your eggs in one basket. The thing with even stocks, for that matter, is that you don't have a way to prove that the things you get from them would matter in the long run, even especially in downturns and economic collapses. You don't have to make sure that with that too badly with crypto or precious metals even. But stocks aren't not necessarily guaranteed no matter what people tell you, and not even mortgages or bonds or whatever else is out there. Especially if you use a treasury for precious metals, that will not last too long, in my opinion. I think that's a terrible idea for the precious metals. And for crypto, don't use Coinbase or Crack.com. Use actual exchanges that are not third-party compromised by the state. And for fiat, yeah, like I said, don't only use fiat, but also don't. I technically would not recommend you to even compromise fiat completely if you still need it for things, and you technically still would. I don't blame you, but don't only have fiat. Last thing I'll say is that currency can still easily be innovated past crypto. It could still easily annex out any of these other things, precious metals, fiat, but you don't have to take my word for it. Just see for yourself whether it was to be like experiment with these things, whether you're proven wrong or right about any of the things you use with your own money. Trust your own judgment. Make sure that if you are able to afford these risks on your own time, just try them out. Just try to make sure that you don't tell anyone your crypto code. Nah, it was like seriously, whatever the code you use to keep your I don't know how important that is, whether or not it is, but like you don't have to tell anyone. You're not supposed to tell anyone your passcodes for like things you keep safe with your keys and your hard wallets and all that, but like or soft wallets even. But yeah, I think this will do for now. I shouldn't even have to push for 10 minutes, but I just want to talk about this a little bit for now. I will make claimations in the future, including stuff like this. I was actually going to make a claimation about these moving in a little bit, but that would have been a waste of... That would kind of technically been a waste of time moving these things with claimation. It would have been cool though, but not as much as it would have to the time for it. And not on a time like this when I'm still learning how to make this work, so... For Marshcraft's sake, we'll upload this to YouTube, maybe even BitChute. For our Crosswind Digs, we'll have more claimation on those sometimes, but not so much to the degree that this is kind of conceded as being kind of private. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like, tell me to make more videos like this with more facts and evidence, so I don't get myself screwed over by being a dum-dum and just talk my shit out of my mouth that I still technically know a little bit about, but not too much as I could. So I'll research these more in the future. Hope you guys had a good day. I'll be doing well. I think I'm doing really well in spite of things I talked about before, but I just you know. Hope this video actually had a recording, by the way. I need to get more mic tools. Oh well. Oh, and one more thing. I was gonna get a 3D printer at some point too, but I didn't know if I was gonna use it for claymations. So if I use it for claymations, I'll use it like some of the material and the modeling clay together to make my claymations. If those are Marshcraft claymations as well, give me some ideas how I can use that for it as well. If I get a 3D printer, if not, we'll just make claymations if I can. Hopefully. Sayonara, guys. See you in another Marshcraft video.